Alright, we're going to be doing navigation on autopilot, but we are now doing it with confirmationless nav, meaning the car will not require input from the driver to change lanes. It will only require to sense that the driver's hand is still on the steering wheel. So I have entered in a destination. It's the only thing I can think of. I had it saved in my car on the nav. It was a medical supply location, but I'm not going all the way there. But I needed something far enough away. Okay, it's going to switching lanes on its own right now. Now, I'm going to try and follow the same route I did on the confirmation on lane change autopilot that I already filmed and put together. So I'm going to try and do the same route overall here. Now, I did have it set for Mad Max before, but I'm turning that down to average just because I don't want this thing going as crazy. Now, for some reason, the car decided to really slow down there. Actually, it dropped the set speed limit, I think. Speed limit is 55. Traffic flow is about 60. So that could have been my fault, too. I'm used to Autopilot 1 and how it decides on... Okay, it's got the turn signal on, but there is a vehicle there, and it's waiting for us to move over. Pretty good change there. So it might be a little bit here. I might turn it back up to Mad Max, but I just want to get a little feel for it because this is my first time running nav on autopilot without confirmation. It's pretty hot today. It's 73, so it's snowing a couple days here. Upcoming lane change. According to the center screen, lane change is in 2 miles. Now, I did speed up the slow intermediate sections of the navigate on... Deciding to change lanes right now. Right in front of a semi. But this time around I'm keeping it on full time because I want to see exactly what it does. Now personally, nav on autopilot without confirmation, they would have had to make a lot of tweaks to this software to feel comfortable doing that without the driver's input, because this thing made some interesting choices, I should say, on regular nav by autopilot, and not all of them very good. And I was having some trouble with the car deciding to basically brake check everybody. Anything that was even remotely approaching entering my lane, on-ramps, exits. Had a little wiggly bit here at the same spot last time. Nicely enough, though, it is basically making about the same lane change decisions as it did previously. I've got 0.3 of a mile. Slowing down quite a bit. The lane's clear, but it's just not moving over. Oh. Wanted a little better confirmation from me. Okay, it failed on that one. Started and then... Okay, ending nav on autopilot. Alright, so that time, while it passed on the non-confirmation, this time it failed. It started moving over, and then and then decided to abort and move back into its lane, even though there was nothing there. It was completely clear, both front, back, and to the side. And if you're looking, that's an adult toy store, for those of you that know exactly what I'm talking about. But just thinking, if it, no, I've never been in there. But just thinking, if it really was an adult toy store, they wouldn't be selling their current merchandise. They would be selling Teslas, wouldn't they? You know, just for, you know, deep thought. Think about that for a while. So we're going to do a turnaround here, and once again, I'm trying to do the same route I did the last time around. So this is going to be a considerably longer video, just because I don't have the slow, uneventful sections sped up. It'd be kind of cool to see what this shows up as for pedestrians in front of us. Just one person kind of doing a moonwalk in a way, instead of 3 people. But hey, it still showed. Showing 3 of the vehicles that are behind me and to the side. Pretty good. So let's see exactly how much improvement Tesla has made, because I've had this car 3 weeks, 3.5. Let's see, what's today? 8th. So a few days shy of a month here I've had this X. And technically, I still haven't gotten the damn title you got from it, from my credit union, so I haven't even registered this thing yet. So we're going to turn around right here. You know what, I turned around at that next little bit last time, but shouldn't make too much difference. Got a red light here. Getting a little toasty inside. Green light. Now, completely unrelated to this test and the last time, it actually made this... Oh, no. Fail. It actually made that curve once for me before. Alright, oh, I forgot to enter in another location. Alright, changing lanes on its own. It's getting a little squirrely here because the lane just got really wide. It's already planning on its left lane change. Oh, no, major fail. Started to, and then it just swerved right over, probably because the 2 lanes merged anyways. Let's see if it's gonna fail on this one. This one's not a lane merge. Now that last one where it swerved back was actually a pass and was successful on the previous test with confirmation. So far we got 2 fails where previously it was a pass. So let's see what we got. The next destination I put in is a Goodwill. I don't feel like using friends and family's addresses. So this part was actually a fail last time too, because the car wanted us in the middle lane here, or one of the middle lanes. It moved us into the right lane, but it waited so long to move into the exit lane. So it's still not moving over. Okay, now it's moving over, but the problem is, and I think we're going to fail again, and now it's slowing us down considerably. Okay, and it failed, so I'm going to manually exit here. So it waited too long to move over, then it saw the solid line. And once it saw that solid line, of course, solid line means, at least in the US, you cannot move, change lanes through a solid line. So in that case, if I was relying on, say if it was full autonomous, which of course it's not, that would have ended up being a missed exit. And if I was running low on power, I might have just missed that exit and run out of power. I might not have been able to make it, or make it U-turn and or exit and come back a different way to be able to make a supercharger. But then again, if you're running that low, you're not going to be probably using Navigate on Autopilot at that point. You're going to be driving manually and hypermiling that bugger as much as you can. Well, again, that was a fail on both the nav on confirmation and without confirmation. So the only reason I physically exited and took over control at that point was because, once again, I want to take the same route I ended up doing last time. Just as a comparison, I mean, 2 videos to watch, why not? You know, you guys can't get enough of Tesla here, so. Autopilot on yet. They got this nifty little thing here to try and slow people down. Doesn't work. I've been able to take that at about 80 once before. Probably wouldn't have been able to do it in any other vehicle, but a Tesla, nah, not a problem. And I'm going to leave Autopilot off here. Now, Autopilot 1 on my Model S followed this curve here. No problem. Autopilot 2 wants to keep going straight, and the road, as you guys could see, ended. So that was not quite an option there. Slowing down. All right, so let's see. Let's enter our next destination. What did I do last week? Okay, next was the Mitchell International Airport, or the Milwaukee Airport. In the process of slightly renaming it for no reason other than to waste money. Alright, let's start getting up to speed. Nav Autopilot is on. It's a little squirrely on the on-ramp, and it is not accelerating enough. This is dangerous. I am taking over acceleration. It had the correct speed set, 60, but it was not. It was staying at about 45 miles an hour, not accelerating up to proper speeds getting on the on-ramp. That was a bit of a fail. I'm not sure if it did that without confirmation nav either. But if I would have merged at that speed, I would have gotten rear-ended by that oncoming, was that a Chevy Equinox? Now it did move over into the proper lane. Now this is a brand new remodel of this overpass here. Now this one, ever since the remodel, has caused havoc for both Autopilot 1 and Autopilot 2. But this and the last release, previous to the, it's doing pretty good now. Of course, as usual, it's always Granny calling. She loves calling right when I am making my videos. And every time I silence my phone, I don't know why it's supposed to silence my watch at the same time. But of course, that never happens. Let's see what we got going on here. It's keeping us in our lane pretty good. Now, just a comment. The requirement with confirmation and nav without confirmation, the lane change is just something that's bugging me a bit. Now, I understand that we got to keep our hand on the wheel for lane changes, but at least the nav in Autopilot 2, the lane changes require me to keep a grip that's a little harder than what I would consider reasonable, considering the car has to actually move the steering wheel, and the amount of grip that I got to put for it to maintain that lane and can carry through that lane change. Excuse the stuttering, my gosh. Is what I would say a little excessive, and I think that also might be interfering a bit with the automatic lane changes. I'm going to turn this thing up to Mad Max. So just to reiterate, now there's speed-based lane changes. There's the 4 options: disabled, mild, average, and Mad Max. Like I said, I did turn it to average for the beginning of this test, just because I'm a little nervous with the lane change without confirmation. Oh, and guess what's coming up next to us? Got an Alfa Romeo Giulia coming up. The other brand of cars I love are Alphas. Oh gosh, my first car was an Alfa. An old Alfa Romeo 164. Sexy cars. Look at that. I really miss the look and feel of driving an Alfa, but I do not miss the lack of reliability. Alfa Romeo's reliability is about that of a 2012 or 13 Tesla Model S. Completely different subject though. Alright, let's see what it does with that merged vehicle. Now, this is pretty good. In the past, a previous release for both nav on the last video for that I did was 2019.8.4 firmware release, which I got April 4th. Today's April 8th. And all the way through April 4th, the car probably would have slammed on the brakes for that, is that a Honda? I didn't look and I can't see that far ahead to read the emblem. But it would have probably brake checked that vehicle entering the freeway there. This time it did not. Very impressed. I'm currently at, despite what the dash is saying, I'm currently doing 10 over the speed limit. Speed limit's actually 50 here. Now, Autopilot 2 and higher vehicles are not yet reading speed limit signs. It's going based off of other nav data, which I'm surprised they don't take the data from Autopilot 1 cars, which currently do read speed limit signs, and then use that for Autopilot 2 and higher cars. There, now it changed. Pretty late. Okay, so now we are going to the airport. Once we go around this very sharp curve, now my Autopilot 1 Model S has extreme trouble on this curve. Number one, the lines are very poor and worn out, even though they're only like 2 years old. And number two, it's a very sharp turn. The car's gonna probably make a sharp lane change here. Yep, a little aggressive. And then once we get past this concrete barrier, it's going to want to make another lane change to the right to take the airport turnpike. Now, this airport turnpike will actually take us all the way to the drop-off and pickup terminals. Now, we're going to see how far this one makes it compared to the previous release. Well, The previous release made it pretty darn far. I was actually really surprised. I did speed through that video because that really wasn't part of the nav on autopilot test, because that was actually not freeway, so the car can't actually navigate. And for some reason it just brake checked us, seemingly for that sign shadow that was in the road. And we're slowing down quite a bit because of the vehicle in front of us. Now, I do think Autopilot 2 does slow down too much in areas where Autopilot 1 would only slow down a little bit. There is signage for recommended curve speed, and I do catch Autopilot 2X slowing down considerably more than the recommended speed. Now, it also could have something to do with this being a Model X compared to my Model S. Of course, the Model S, neither the X or the S have any kind of real massive rollover. I mean, they're the best in terms of rollover pretty much of any production car in the world because of the low center of gravity. However, the S would have a lot less rollover potential than an X. So, I mean, there could be some differences there just because of that. Now, it shouldn't, but if it does try taking this exit right here, where the sign that says all trucks, I will cancel that, although it should not. There's a Kia Soul doing lift right next to us. Alright, now once again, Autopilot 2X vehicles do not read the speed limit signs yet. So it still thinks, oh, there, it's catching up. It wasn't as delayed this time. This Kia Soul behind us is really on my bumper. I'm going to manually start slowing it down. Autopilot has ended because we're no longer on the freeway. This might be a cop coming up. So I'm going to try going right through here now. This is the spot where I had to take over last week. Alright, and that's where it panicked. Would have swerved over, so take over there. Plus we got people. I don't want to be doing tests around an area where there could be a potential injury to anyone but myself, because my life insurance is right up there. You have to. And yes, for those wondering, my tire pressure is very high at the moment. I gotta let some, I was planning on letting some air out. It's mostly because of the high temperatures today, but the temperature is going to drop tonight, be in the 50s tomorrow, and then we're getting snow on Wednesday. Yeah, we're going from 71 right now. It was a little warmer, 71 to down to snow. I mean, really, come on here. But it still beats negative 32. Okay, I'm going to let Autopilot do its thing, but I am going to manually override speeds. There we go. Alright, not navving by Autopilot, because I didn't set an address yet. Alright, entering in Oak Creek Supercharger, which will be our final destination. I should have been able to start increasing speed, so I'm going to have to manually hit the accelerator. Once again, this is a problem with Autopilot 2X vehicles not reading speed limit signs. And there we go. Now it gave it to us. Upcoming lane change. And if I'm reading this correctly, because it's a little different, I'm still not quite used to this. Oh, there we go. Tight circle that we went up following that big truck on the exit to go towards the airport. Now we got even tighter turnaround going towards the supercharger here. We're only about 4.5 miles from the supercharger. Realistically, it would have been quicker to take the city streets. It actually would have been a exactly straight shot, and probably about 2 miles instead of 4.8. Now, ramp speed here, this direction is 30. Reasonable here. 35. I'm slowing this down even more. This is too slow. Suggested ramp speed's 30, but I can see that for a semi-truck. But this is still slower than what I would recommend. And I'm going to override the speed again. I'm only overriding the speed. And here's another spot. Even though we can start going up, this thing's accelerating way too slow. Alright, we got an upcoming lane change. Nope. Failed. Started going over and then tried going back into its original lane even though I was clear. Alright, so I'm definitely getting more failures with Autopilot or nav without confirmation. Let's see what it does here. Yeah, that was actually really good. But now we're coming up on this vehicle too fast. And now it's slamming on the brakes. State-owned, wow. Okay, another fail for not reading speed limit signs. Speed limit's actually 60 here because of the construction, and now it just changed it to 55. So not being able to read the speed limit signs is really bad. I'm surprised Tesla's let the Autopilot in any way, shape, or form on Autopilot 2X vehicles go this far and this long without being able to recognize the speed limit signs. I mean, Autopilot 1 was doing that even before I think we actually even had Autopilot. Now, I got my 2016 90D Model S with Autopilot 1 once Autopilot was already enabled for vehicles, not just traffic-aware cruise control. Alright, kind of wavered to the right just like it did last time. And it took the exit just fine. Navigate on Autopilot ending in 100 feet, and that's it. No more navigate on Autopilot, just normal Autopilot, which is going to start slowing us down. Actually, it reactivated on its own. navigate on autopilot and just move us over one lane. Yeah, it did that on the previous release test too. So my thoughts. Some aspects were better, but at the same time, it also had a couple more fails that it didn't have before. And I think two of those fails were, I mean, I'd have to really go back and rewatch the video again. But two of those fails were failed attempts at actually changing lanes. It was a clear next to us, and it moved over, and then halfway through aborted. So I mean, that's a little. I don't know how to say it. That's a little disappointing, but at the same time, some aspects were better. It did pretty excellent overall, and I'm surprised it did as good as it did, to be honest. I was expecting a few more fails than that without having confirmations, because I was expecting, oh god, I need more coffee, but how can I put it? I was expecting navigate without confirmation to play it considerably more safe than it is, or than it did. You know what? Let's see if it'll take this exit here. I'm actually going to head home now because I got to pick up kids from school in 15 minutes. So it is taking this exit. So that's pretty cool. But I am going to cancel because I'm not going to the supercharger anymore. Go to the left. So overall, it's a great stepping stone. I don't think I would be confident or trust it in any way, shape, or form during heavy traffic, or periods where even if it's not a lot of traffic, a lot of fast-paced driving with vehicles all the way around. At the moment, I would trust it for long distance, confirmationless navigation on long distance drives. Like I drive from Milwaukee to Wisconsin Dells every week. There and back every week, and that's 2 hours plus a charging stop halfway. Just grab a bite to eat while I'm eating, charge. But I'm very hesitant to nav by autopilot on congested streets or congested freeways, or areas where there's going to be just too many vehicles. There's just too much failure to be comfortable. And wow, I just brake checked for that white car, that Toyota, that was really not a situation where the car should have slammed on its brakes. That was not too good. Now, Autopilot 1 would not have performed that way. Now, the car is supposed to calculate the speed that crossing vehicle is going at, and then adjust itself accordingly. Am I going to get to that vehicle before it completes its crossing my path or not? And I suppose that would have been a good test of the stoplight notification, but I have not been able to get stoplight notification to work yet. I suppose let's try it again, as long as I got you all here. I slowed down a little bit. Oh, green light. Never mind. So that makes it for this video. What are your thoughts on confirmationless nav by autopilot? I think it's a great stepping stone, but still has quite a ways to go. Put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And don't forget, if you haven't yet, like and subscribe to help me continue making videos for all of you. Adios!